takes place.
Chair, I might leave that for now, if I may, only because to give my colleagues an opportunity.
Mr. Purvinas, thank you for appearing. If you disagree with changes to the Qantas Sale Act that would result in increased foreign ownership, what is your recommendation to secure the future of Qantas with a healthy financial outlook and with jobs retained in Australia?
I would suggest that the government stop dealing with the current board of management until such time that they replace the CEO, they replace the chairman, and they put someone with aviation background onto the board.
So when you talk about the board, and you say somebody with aviation background, are you suggesting that there isn't anybody on the board with aviation background?
No, to the best of our knowledge, there's no one on the board who has any grounding in aviation. There's people like bankers, there's a tobacconist, and...
You mean like running a business, running an airline as a business?
They've all come from corporate backgrounds, and there's no one with any grounding in the airline that we can see on the board. And we think that if there was someone there who had an aviation background, they would see that some of the decisions that they've made just don't make sense, such as, for example, they've started flying back from Dallas to Sydney. The 747s they're flying can't carry enough fuel into the headwinds there, and someone with aviation knowledge would say, surely we're going to put a plane on the route that can actually fly the distance, but subsequently they drop into Fiji and Brisbane quite regularly because they can't fly that far.
So you're suggesting that they put another plane on that could do the full distance. It would be much more economical, and they would therefore be in a better position.
Yeah, there's other aircraft that can fly that route if they want to continue flying there.
I wanted to return to this very serious issue about Qantas safety, because you raised some major concerns and you documented, and now we've seen this letter from Qantas. They argue that they're refuting some of your claims. Now, I notice, and I haven't been able to read it, but when I scanned through it, what's coming through is that a great deal of it depends on CASA, what CASA has said, what CASA has audited, what CASA's surveillance. And I do remember when we were together last, you were quite critical of CASA. Could you outline why you're critical of CASA, what their role is, and if you think they can be relied on in the way Qantas senior management have?
Yeah, look, they don't regulate the industry as they should. And if I go back to some statements by the head of CASA some years ago, his name was Bruce Byron, and he said that CASA should be seeing itself as a partner of industry.
A partner?
As a partner of industry. And as long as CASA see themselves as a partner of industry, we think the whole model is flawed. And on the weekend, I come to a different Senate committee, and I spoke on Friday about some engines that weren't secured properly out of a Hong Kong facility. And I talked about engine mounts and bolts that were incorrectly fitted. And it was Saturday morning, CASA had came out, and their spokesperson, Mr. Peter Gibson, had come out and said that what I was talking about was extenuated or incorrect. It was only one engine and one bolt and one washer that was a problem. Yet in November and December 2009, when talking about this issue in CASA's own magazine, they printed the details of the aircraft and engine mount problem and referred to the three engines. So CASA themselves know very well that it's not one bolt on one engine and one washer, yet they continue to say things to defend Qantas which are not true. So yes, we are highly critical of CASA, and we believe we're entitled to be.
Just clarification, you're alleging that CASA is deliberately misleading on those issues?
I don't know why they do it, but the CASA spokesman, Mr. Peter Gibson, lied and said that it was only one bolt and one washer on one engine, when he knows very well, because it was printed in a CASA magazine, that the issue extended across three engines. Whether he has said that to try and defend CASA or to defend Qantas, I'm not sure.
Senator Rihanna, sorry.
Thank you. So in this submission from Qantas, item 4 on page 4, it states, CASA has established a set of regulations and standards which are harmonised with international standards and has developed mutual audit processes and with other authorities. So I ask about those international standards because again, I don't have a background in this, but what we often see in other international standards, that they are often lower than what we have in Australia. They're lower than our labour standards, our environmental standards. So can you comment, are those international standards at the level that we think they should be for safety?
The standards are the same. It's how they're regulated that differs. And, for example, Qantas used to send a team of aircraft engineers licensed across to witness the maintenance as it was occurring. They no longer do, and they've just recently... And
when did that stop? When did they stop?
In 2012, they decided the 6 licensed aircraft engineers would no longer be going overseas to witness the maintenance. And we've provided details as well that CASA used to audit facilities, and there's one example there with the Singapore authorities where they have signed an agreement whereby they will accept Singapore's own audits of their own facilities and no longer go over there and carry them out.
So they're just accepting what? We're not double checking it in any way?
Yeah, look, the standards are meant to be the same. It's how those standards are regulated and enforced that is different.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Senator Xenophon, please. Not there. Senator Edwards.
Yes. Hello. Groundhog Day, Mr. Purvinas, again. Do you contribute to a gossip website, PPROOM, the Professional Pilots Rumour Network?
Yep.
And as recently as the 16th of March?
Is that 2 days ago? Yep.
Yeah. So for the last time, did you ever say that you will bake them slowly, meaning Qantas?
I don't recall saying that, no.
Well, can I just table that you
Sure.
actually did?
Sure.
And it was logged on the 24th of August 2011 at 8:55
Right.
a.m. Okay, thanks very much. The rates that we talked about, I'll get to if we've got time.
Yep.
But I'm going to write to Virgin tomorrow.
Yep.
Because I understand,
Yep.
and we talked about this on Friday,
Yep.
that Virgin's current heavy maintenance is performed in a number of locations around Asia, and the Boeing 738,
Yep.
one full line by Air New Zealand in New Zealand, and the overflow and end of lease activity goes to Malaysian Airlines in Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah,
I'm going to ask them that.
Sure, ask them. I'm not aware of it though.
The Boeing 777, but your contention is that they only do it in New Zealand or Portugal?
Portugal, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I'm saying that this is information. I've reached out since Friday and said, okay,
Yep.
but I'm going to ask for confirmation on
Yep.
this. The Boeing 777, all heavy maintenance, is now with SIA-EC in Singapore, and there was a Virgin 777 in there as recently as 10 days ago.
Okay.
And the Airbus 330, and all that heavy maintenance is with LHT in the Philippines.
Yeah, I'm not aware of that. Oh, look, these aircraft you're talking about, I wasn't aware that heavy maintenance checks were due on them yet.
But your evidence has been asserting that they only happen in Portugal, or and I just want to get the record right. And
I can only tell you what I know.
And I'm sure that they will be aware of this. So they'll, and the Embraer 190, quite rightly you said, is in Portugal, and Tigers is now a subsidiary of Virgin.
Yep.
Their Airbus 320s are also serviced by SIA-EC in Singapore. Okay? So I'll seek confirmation on that.
Yep.
But and of course, the contention is that it's dangerous to get your plane serviced anywhere else but Australia is your contention. But yet Virgin continues to get all their heavy maintenance done outside Australia.
You know, that's not what I said. I said we have concerns with Asian facilities.
Okay. Now, I know you're no fan of CASA, but subsequent to your comments that were made on Friday,
Yep.
Peter Gibson from CASA
Yep.
said on AM on Radio National on Saturday morning. We certainly do not favour any particular airline. We certainly do not turn a blind eye to any practices where they have evidence of safety standards slipping. We step in and take action. Now, there are members, the Secretary of the Department which controls CASA is going to be giving evidence here tonight.
Fantastic.
So he'll be very interested to know and to listen to your evidence and to take that all back to Mr McCormick, who's the head of CASA until August, I think, and well known to the RAT committee, which I serve on, and where they would obviously be very keen to hear your contention about this being an extension of the HR department of Qantas.
I said IR, yeah.
IR, yeah. Right, thank you. Also, sorry? I need to wind up.
Yeah, another couple of questions.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I'm seeking your reaction to the federal court's view of the ALAEA, and I guess your militancy, in a judgment in the Australian Licensed Aircraft Engineers Association versus Sunstate Airlines in Queensland, Proprietary Limited, in 2012. This was the federal court's view. It is subversive of such a culture and anti-ethical to the public interest for what are in reality industrial actions to be cloaked in as aviation safety issues. Perhaps it was that the LAME or LAME employees felt sorely tested by the state of negotiations concerning a replacement industrial agreement. However that may be, and it is no part of my role to make any arbitrarial decision concerning where the merits of an underlying claims in respect of a replacement enterprise agreement lay. What occurred on the evening of the 19th of October 2010 were not acts of men faithful to their trade responsibility. What's your statement to that? I mean, that's a federal court's view on your militancy.
We're quite often in the courts competing against Qantas, and there's so many different statements that would support things both for and against our positions. If you would like me to talk in extensive detail about that case where some licensed aircraft...
So you're militant a lot?
Sorry?
Yeah. I mean, you'd say you were in court actions as equally as militant as that a lot?
No, I said we're often in court with Qantas, and whether you want to call that militancy is a different...
Okay, Chair. Just have you ever... I mean, you've asked Alan Joyce, the CEO of Qantas, to resign.
Yep.
Have you ever asked any other CEO of Qantas to resign?
I'm pretty sure I may have said something similar about Mr Dixon.
Okay, so nobody's immune. So everybody gets asked to resign.
I haven't asked the CEO of Virgin to resign.
No, okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Senator Xenophon.
It seems that Senator Edwards is verballing Mr Purvinas again. Mr Purvinas,
Well, everybody gets to resign.
Senator Xenophon.
Well, it wasn't everybody.
Two people.
Mr Purvinas, I won't be long. Okay. There are a number...
Order.
Mr Purvinas, you made a number of serious allegations, or raised a number of serious concerns in respect of maintenance issues, particularly about the ratio of licensed aircraft engineers overseas to non-licensed engineers. You also made it very clear that a licensed aircraft engineer in Singapore, Manila, Hong Kong, Vietnam are as skilled and as capable as Australian licensed aircraft engineers. That's correct. That's good. So your argument is one of levels of supervision and CASA's regulatory oversight. Is that correct?
Yes, it's about how many licensed aircraft engineers are within the mix of people working on an aircraft.
Sure. Now, because Qantas has rebutted these matters that you've raised, are you able to, on notice, provide a detailed response to that? I think it's important so that the committee can make an adequate judgment of the claims and counterclaims. Are you able to do that in the next few days?
On that particular matter, I've added some new appendices to my submission from Friday that cover that matter.